We're going to look into 5.7 Practice B worksheet. If you are printing them out, they're going to be on the 46th page of the bundle, and you're going to need 45th page, which is going to be Practice A for your assignment later. If you're just looking at the page number on the bottom right corner, it's going to be page 227 for this one, and then for your homework, it's going to be page 226. So let's go ahead and take a look at these questions. Your homework questions are going to have the same format, just different numbers. So by watching this, I hope you can get some ideas to work on this lesson, especially with rotation. It can be a little confusing at times. So first I'm going to look at number 1. Tell whether the dashed figure is a rotation of the solid figure about the origin. So we're going to look at the solid figure and see if this dotted one is going to be the rotation of the original figure. And if it's a rotation, you're going to have to give them the angle and direction. So is it going to be 90, 180, or 270, or is it going to be counterclockwise or clockwise? I'm going to go ahead and count how far is this point from the origin, which is going to be the rotating point, and I'm going to count 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So this is going to be like this, 2 and 3. So if I would turn that around, and I can go either this way for the counterclockwise, or if I move it this way, it's going to be clockwise. I would probably want to do clockwise just because it saves me time to rotate it. So I'm going to go ahead and see this figure, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3 out, and then 2 in. And that's going to create that 90 degrees angle for my figure. And actually that means my end point is going to be right here, and my heart needs to be upside down starting from this. So number 1 is not a rotation. Let's take a look at number 2. I am also going to get a point, and same thing, origin is going to be the center of the rotation. And I'm going to see maybe this one. Okay, so I have -1, 1. To origin, I'm going to do in and straight. So if I want to have a 90 degrees angle, it's going to be in, straight like this. It creates a 90 degrees angle. So I have this point. It seems like I have 90 degrees angle, and it seems like it should align. Just to make sure, I'm going to use a different color and try it on with maybe this one, -3, 0. So this one is just going to go straight to the origin. So I'm just going to go 3 straight. So with a 90 degrees, if I want to make a 90 degrees, it has to go down. So 1, 2, 3. And I have the line aligned. So I know that 2 of my points out of 4 are going to have 90 degrees angle. And I'm pretty sure that if I work on the rest of the points, I'm going to have 90 degrees angle too. So for those who would want to practice, you can go ahead and practice with me. If not, you can skip a little bit to go to the next question. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one. And to go in, I go in 1, and then I go 1, 2, 3. So I want to make a 90 degrees angle, so I'm going to move to the left side of the x-axis. So I go the opposite, 1, 2, 3, and then 1 in. Again, this is 90 degrees angle. I have my third point. My last one is going to be this, which is going to be 2 and then 3. So I go 3 and then 2, which is going to be the correct spot. So I know everything is going to be 90 degrees, everything is going to align, so I know this is a rotation. Now, because I know this is a rotation, I also have to give the angle and direction. So I only moved once, that means it's going to be 90 degrees. And I moved the figure this way, so that means I moved it counterclockwise. So I put C, C, W, and that's going to be number 2. Now for questions 3 to 6, some we can find out the coordinates without actually drawing the image. For other ones, you may have a harder time, so you may want to just actually draw it. So for 3 and 4, I am going to go ahead and find out the coordinates without drawing the images. And then for 5 and 6, we're going to go ahead and draw the image for those who may need help. I've mentioned in our lesson video that when you are rotating an original image 90 degrees clockwise, you're actually going to follow this rule. Your x and y coordinates will change into y and negative x. That means whatever number that you had for x will now change into its opposite and go to the place of y, and then your y answer, the number, is going to go to your x value. Using this rule, we can change the coordinates for a, b, c, d into a prime, b prime, c prime, and d prime. A and b have 1 and 2, and they're going to be the same number, so when you change it, you may not really see the huge difference, but nonetheless, you're going to change. So y is going to stay the same, and x is going to be its negative. The y value stays the same for b, which is 2, and then the x is going to be its negative, so negative 2. For c prime, this is going to be a little different just because you have numbers that are different for x and y value. So you're going to have 2, which is a y value, and then negative 4, which is the opposite of x, and d is going to be 1 first and negative 5. And that's going to be your clockwise rotation about the origin from the original image. For number 4, it says 270 degrees counterclockwise, which is actually the same thing as 90 degrees clockwise. So again, I'm going to use the same rule that I used, which is going to give you the same answer as number 3. So here I underlined 270 degrees counterclockwise equals 90 degrees clockwise, and all you have to do is to write these answers one more time right below. For the next 2 questions, I am going to draw the figure and then try to move them on the graph. So I drew the trapezoid ABCD, and I'm going to go ahead and rotate them 90 degrees clockwise about vertex A. That means my point A is going to be the point that you pin it, and then you rotate the other ones around. And if it's clockwise, you're going to move it this way, so it's going to be on the 4th quadrant. Because I'm rotating about vertex A, I don't have to move A, so my A prime is going to be the same point as A, which is going to be just 1, 1. For B, I am going to go ahead and count how far B is going to be from A. So this is going to be 1 to the left and 1 down. So from here, I am going to do the opposite. So I'm going to go 1 to the right and 1 up, which is going to be right here. And that's going to be B prime. For C, I am going to go ahead and count again, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3 to the left and 1 down. So I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 to the right, and then 1 up. My last point is D, and D is going to go straight to B, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I start from A and then go straight 1, 2, 3, and 4 out, and that's going to be your D. So I have all my primes, A prime, B prime, C prime, and D prime, and then you go ahead and connect them. So that's going to be the 90 degrees, and you can tell that it's a 90 degree because this angle is going to create 90, and then you'll have to find out the B prime, C prime, and D prime. So my B prime is going to be 2, 0. My C prime is going to be 2, negative 2. And D prime is going to be 1, negative 3. For our next question, I'm just going to draw the graph on the bottom below because we have enough space. I drew the figure again, and I have more space on the right side because I noticed that you have to rotate your figure 180 degrees counterclockwise about vertex D. So your vertex D is going to be right here. And if you're turning it counterclockwise, you're going to turn it this way. So I figured if you rotate it, it's going to need some extra space on the right side. We know that because it's 180 degrees, your shape, the trapezoid, is going to look upside down. And because you have the vertex D as your rotation point, D is going to stay the same as D prime. And then let's go ahead and see A. A is going to have its position on the opposite side of D, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 units away. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 units away, and that's going to be my new A. For B prime and C prime, the simple way to work on this is to see that A to B is just going to be 1 unit away, and B is going to be more inside. So I'm going to say, okay, it's just 1 unit away to this side, 1 in. So that's going to be my new B prime. And then my C prime is going to be on the other side as well. So you go 1 to the left, 1 top, 1 to the right, 1 on the bottom. So this is going to be your C prime. It's a little flat looking shape, but that's going to be your new shape for 180 degrees counterclockwise for vertex D. So let's go ahead and write the coordinate plane for this one. So A prime is going to be 9, 1. B prime is going to be 8, 0. And C prime is going to be 6, 0. And D is the same as the original one, so D is just going to be 5, 1. So because you're going to be ending up with different type of position than the origin, you are going to have to draw it sometimes if you can't visualize it in your head, which is a great way to check your answers if they are correct. Number 7 and 8 says, tell whether the figure has rotational symmetry. So let's go ahead and think about it. If you would like to have rotational symmetry and you have a figure, something like this on 7, this is more like translation, because your shape is not going to change, its position is not going to be rotated. You just put the figure next to each other, which is sliding. And I think number 7 is a great example of translation. So this is not rotational symmetry. Whereas for number 8, if you start with one of this figure and rotate them in a circular motion, you are going to end up with this windmill-like pattern. So this is going to be a rotational symmetry. So hope this lesson was helpful to review rotation. I know it can be confusing. Another great way to check your answers is to have either a cooking sheet or a clear plastic bag, and if you want to draw it with a marker or dry erase marker, and try to see if you can have the rotation, and that may actually help you to find out the points. Like I said at the beginning, your homework is going to be 5.7 practice 8 question, and if you have watched this video all the way through, you can go ahead and draw a strawberry next to your name so that I know you have watched this video.